Yanez downhill, slams it home. Pressure again, and a sack for Aaron Donald. A coronation is complete. All hail King Canelo. That's Mahomes who tiptoes inside the 10. Still knocks out. Oh, what a run.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us for another special episode of the Game Changers. I'm your host, CEO of the Right Way Sports Network, Malik Wright. Joined with my co-host, as always, Danny Alameda. And today we have a special guest who this show is built around, Saidyokub Kakhramonov. Hopefully I pronounced the name correctly. I've been having issues with it all morning, and I've been trying to make sure that I pronounce it correctly. But, Saeed, I want to say thank you first and foremost for joining us on the show, my man. How are we doing today?
Man, thanks for having me here, man.
For sure. And Saeed, we're going to just jump right into it. But before we do, I want to remind everybody, make sure you like, subscribe to this video. Follow us on all our social media platforms, TWSN everywhere. And if you want to make a little bit of money on the Patreon, everything is down in the description below, where we're winning people tons of dollars. And if you actually would have followed our picks 2 weeks ago, you would have picked Saeed when he absolutely dominated Ronnie Lawrence, and made a believer out of the UFC community. So Saeed, let's talk right there, right? What do you make of Vegas, right? They had you as the underdog against Ronnie Lawrence, and everybody that was coming out were making all these stakes saying Ronnie's going to wrestle him. Ronnie's going to give him a hard day at the office. It's going to be a tough fight. It was a tough fight, but it wasn't a tough fight for you. Very curious, what did you make of Vegas making you the underdog? And it seems like that's the common theme with them, making you an underdog.
Man, once I saw that, I'm like, I knew the Vegas was rigged. I knew they were trying. I was like, man, Vegas is stupid. I think they're doing this shit on purpose. Yeah. They know what's up. Sometimes you see these games, like, they put up this fighters as a favorite, but they're not really. I mean, that's just bullshit. You know what I mean? I think it's just a way of getting money, from people.
Absolutely. And the way, I think the way you beat him was the impressive part. A lot of people expected if there was going to be any type of wrestling exchanges that would have been won, it would have come from Ronnie Lawrence's side. But you took his own game to him. I don't know. I was sitting around watching it with a couple of my guys, man. I had a couple 10-8 rounds in there for you. And I was just looking in there, and I was like, wow, this is not competitive at all. So I just wanted to know what, in terms of this wasn't your first go around in the UFC. Where would you rank Ronnie Lawrence as an opponent? So far as, I know you've been in there with guys like Umar Nurmagomedov, you've been in there with Trevin Jones and things of that nature. Now, Umar was outside of the UFC, but where would you rank Ronnie in terms of an opponent for you?
I mean, he was one of my easiest fights in my career. It was the easiest money ever.
Wow. Hey, man.
And if you look at the fight, man, it was the easiest fight ever in my career. And then I was right in there, I was off. My distance was off. It's just like too much emotion. But it was the easiest fight of my career.
Yeah, I remember you saying you want to talk a little bit more about why you said there was a lot of emotion, built up into this fight. Do you want to speak a little bit more about why there was a lot of emotion and sort of how did you tailor that? How did you hone that emotion in for such a big fight?
I'd say like the first fight was kind of short notice. It's like only 4 or 5 days of debut, because you didn't really get to do a lot. And the second one was like, to get here, like, and then I view we as the fighters, we get paid only. I mean, me, but other than that, I do other things, but financially, I was like a little off. Was like just trying to hustle, try and do that at the same time. I miss my family. I haven't seen it for 10 months. And it's just like the first one, I just had to like prove. I feel like I had to prove who I am. So it was just like even before the fight, like even in the back, I was like, man, I can't. They're talking about him. He's that. I'm like, how the fuck they're doing this? They don't even like. You guys been in the sport for the thing that he has good wrestling. I'm like, come on, man. It's just. And then what pissed me off was like one of his interviews KO me in the third round. I'm like, bruh, I was hated when he said that. I'm like, I'm going. You know what I mean? That's disrespectful. If you're not even like high level athlete. I mean, you have it like, and like wrestling, man. It's like there's levels to this shit, man. You know what I mean? You can be a great wrestler in high school, but man, and this is there's dogs, and you know what I mean? Like this is like difference. You go to college wrestling, you know what I mean? Like I respect anybody who wrestles in college. I respect that. College, if you wrestle in college, I respect that. You know what I mean? Because I know the workouts, I know the wrestling, I know the motherfuckers used to cry and leave the gym during training sessions. You know what I mean? I know how hard it was, but you know what I mean? But there's levels to this shit, so I was like,
I'm going to show you basically that there's levels to it. And it basically was your entire motto going in. And like I said, I did see that interview too where Ronnie Lawrence said he was going to TKO you in the third round. And I was like, I was watching Terrence's Twitter. Me and Terrence follow each other, who's your training partner and good friend. And he was telling everybody, put your money on Saeed. Put your money on Saeed because he's gonna absolutely crush this dude. He's ready. I know you switched camps and you started training in Washington. What went into you making that big change, so to speak?
I've been I used to train here before too. Before the UFC, like I used to come here for training and then and then go back home. But I would say when the pandemic started, I moved to California. I was I moved there, I was in Illinois, and then it was just like I couldn't train here, and I just moved to California because my friends were out there. They were just partying, enjoying life, and I went to Cali, and then I'm in California. Can you find me a gym to just go still train like maybe 3 times a week? Team Oyama, which is in Irvine, it was amazing gym. I loved it. It's nice out here. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just figure out how to stay here, and I just stayed here like maybe a year on and off, and then fight got canceled in January. It's so fucking expensive, man. You can't really it's expensive to live out there. So I was like, man, I need in. And then Warriors came. It's always it's my number one options too. I still with Team Oyama and then with Warriors came. It's just but my main house is Warriors camp. That's where I live. I got an apartment there. I moved to there. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I know we touched on a little bit your relationship with Terrence McKinney. I'm gonna let Daniel get in here in a little bit, but what is it like training with Terrence and having somebody just like that? Like you guys like seem to support each other, and it's really like a unique bond that you guys have.
Yeah, man, it's fun, man. It's fun. I mean, we both. He comes from a culture like he's like little cocky, like he likes to like all over the place. But I'm like more of a like, yo, sit your ass down. Always who gives a shit, but it's always fun, man. Me and him just killing it, you know what I mean? He's a big dude, man, and me going with him, it will make me the pay-per-view fight easily. Sparring sessions are amazing. It's just so much. It's a fun, man. It's
Absolutely,
funny.
absolutely. I'm gonna let Daniel get in here now.
Yeah, so right now, we've got a lot of people in this Twitter chat right now, and just there's a lot of exciting fighters in the bantamweight division, but there are still people who don't know about you, right? What would you say to people who don't know about you? How would you describe your fighting style to those UFC fans that don't know you?
Dude, it's always different how I feel. You know what I mean? Like my first fight was, I was striking his. The second one, I just want to it depends what I want to do. It's all about what I want to do. And then I look at the division for the fans. Like, yeah, division is cool, but how I look at it, they all suck to me.
So yeah, you talked about your division. I know you've called out some people in the past. When you look at your future, over the next 2 years, what is your goals, right? What do you want to accomplish over the next couple of years? Where do you see yourself in 2 to 3 years?
I feel like 2-3 years I'll be fighting. By next year I'll be top 15, top 10 easily. I mean, I look at Jake Shore. I mean, I'm a mauler too. You know what I mean? He's top 15. I mean, look at Umar 18. Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, you know what I mean? These guys are. Sport is still new. MMA sport is new. There's a lot of holes in the game, and then think it's cool. They do UFC because they think it's cool to do all these things. But I put down their heart. I want these guys to retire after they fight me. He's not gonna fight after me. He's done. Just like Trevin Jones, he's done. He's not gonna after me. He lost to a guy who was made his debut. And just like I exposed, he's not winning any more fights. They're all gonna retire after that.
Wow. Yeah. So your mindset is crazy, man. Like I love that. And I want, a lot of fans, like me personally, I've never been in a fight, right? A lot of these fans have never been in fights. Take us through the mindset, on your walk up to that ring, to the octagon. What's it like? What's actually going through your head, as you're about to go to war?
In your head, and you're gonna die, and there's no way back. That's how I feel like it. I know I'm going there to die. Like, I'm not scared of nothing. I just walk in. Once they know, like we walk into the arena, once you in the back, like we still warming up, you like very nervous. I was so nervous. I was gonna lose to this dude. I'm scared. But once walking, I'm like, there's no way back. Like, you guys have to. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm ready to die. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
And the question I have for you, you said the way you, and and let me just say, Saeed, I appreciate how upfront you are and how real you just speak your mind and you talk about how you actually view it. You said you view a lot of these guys that they suck. Now, there is a loss on your record from Umar Nurmagomedov, right? And people hear the name Nurmagomedov and then they automatically just, yep, that guy's going to be the next in line, blah, 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 blah. Now, it was a decision loss, so it wasn't really decisive. It's not like he finished you or something like that. I guess the competitor in you and the way you view it, because I heard your name drop him, do you want to get that one back?
Of course, man. Of course I want to get that one back. I mean, watch a lot of people don't know this. I mean, I talk about it, but when I fought with Umar, I was only like 13 months into MMA fighting in the gym, and after 13 months, literally, you can count, go on Topology, check my first fight, and then check when I fought Umar. You see,
Right.
It was just not enough experience. He had experience. He tried to control me. I mean, if you watch the first round shots, after I hit him with clean shots, that's when he started shooting.
He started shooting for takedowns. He didn't like it. Yeah.
But yeah, hand for hand, he would not stand with me.
So when you see guys like Sean O'Malley, what do you make of them, right? Guys that the UFC are pushing, and it seems to be very careful matchmaking when it comes to these guys. It seems like your style, based on the extensive film that I've watched and me just following your career, it seems like you can wrestle, you can strike. You're very talented. Either whatever way you need to sort of tailor your game to beat your opponent, you could do that. But what do you make of a guy like Sean O'Malley, who's currently right now, I think he's in the top 15 in his bout that he just had with Pedro Munoz. What do you think of a guy like that? If the UFC were to say, you know what, Saeed, your next matchup is against Sugar Sean O'Malley.
I look at O'Malley. He's like in division because he does stuff that like we don't want. I wouldn't want to do. Like, you know what I mean? He's just like culture. But I look at his fighting style. I think he's really cool. He's like, you know what I mean? Like, his pads really cool. Like, you know what I mean? He's like a showman. But in the fight, man, hips, he's done. He has no hips, man.
Absolutely. So
like, he's nothing special to me. I feel like if he fights Umar right now, Umar will and fucking held him there for 15 minutes. You know what I mean? I fight him. It's gonna be different levels, man. Different levels.
Absolutely. And you often hear a lot of UFC fighters talk about, I heard you name drop a guy like Jack Shore and things of that nature. So it doesn't seem like you're too interested in like the easy way up, if you will. Like it seems like you're interested in getting in there with those vultures, getting in there with those dogs right away to prove yourself. Do I understand that correctly?
I mean, I think they are easy fights. Or like saying all kinds of, I've been analyzing a lot of fighters, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not ranked, like if a lot of guys that not ranked, man, it's just a lot of holes. Let's talk about like who was this guy just fought recently? Yeah. I mean, I look at him him, like, he finished the dude on his last fight. He just got caught. Like, he threw an uppercut while the guy was shooting on him. But if I got, they short, I just keep it away. I just kick him in the head. You know what I mean? They can't reach. That's why, like, why not fight Jake Shore, guys like that, top 15 guys? Because his level of the game, it's not that high. You know what I mean? It's easy to catch up, man. It's easy. Yeah.
For sure. Now, do you look at? I love your confidence because I'm very the same. I'm the same way in my craft, in my profession. Is there any fighter that you look at, or would you even tell us, right? Where you look at and you say, that's a tough fighter. That's a fight that would interest me. Hey, this person, I'm impressed with their skill level. This person might give me a little bit of a challenge, or at least make me work. Is there anybody in the bantamweight division that you can look at, whether it's the champion or somebody in the top 15, top 10, top 5? Is there anybody in the bantamweight division that you're impressed with?
Man, I'm impressed with. I like Murad. He's a hardworking dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know Ricky Simon. I trained with him. He's a tough dude. I knew he was gonna beat Shore. I mean, like, I bet him on. You know what I mean? I mean, you guys are stupid giving him underdog like that. I mean, I know Ricky Simon, and we trained with him. He gave me, he gave me work. You know what I mean? He's a real deal. I trained with him too. We had a lot of sparring rounds in the past with him. He's a real deal. I think with him, I never met him, but when I watched the fight, I think he's a real deal too. Who else? Obviously, man, this guy look at his physique, man. Look at his ground game. Fucking, I mean, by the time I feel like he's gonna retire soon. That's why I'm not even worried about those guys. More guys, Sang Yadong, he's young. You know what I mean? Ricky Simon, Chito. You know what I mean? Even though we trained with them in the past, those guys are legit.
That's an interesting matchup that's coming up in a couple of weeks. Actually, it's Chito Vera taking on Dominic Cruz. Who do you favor in that matchup? This is the part of the interview where we start giving you a little speed round and we start asking your opinion on some of these fights because you're a fighter yourself. So who do you favor in that fight?
Chito, of course, man. Chito is on he's hot as the immigrant mentality. You know what I mean? He has family. You know what I mean? He needs to feed his family. I know the things. So he's a dog, man. And like, I see his workouts. Runs 13 miles, man. 10 miles, like, minimum. You know what I mean? He's a dog, man. I got you.
I'll tell you. Sorry to cut you off. There's one fight that won me over with Chito. I've been following Chito for a while. Most people are like, "Oh, it's the Sean O'Malley fight." No, that wasn't it for me. The fight that won Chito over with me, it was Chito taking on Davy Grant. I thought Davy Grant was going to give him a hard day. Because Davy Grant is one of the toughest fights in the bantamweight division for a guy that is probably never going to win championship gold. Just putting it bluntly. It seems like for every fight that he does have where he's like close, or even close to breaking into that next stratosphere, just seems to push him back a little bit. But I was like, if Chito's able to get past a guy like Davy Grant, who I think is hard hitting and just a tough fight in the bantamweight division, I was like, wow. And the fashion in which he did, his IQ. And I see you. I can't wait to see you in some of these bouts and see you in some of these fights as well. And it seems to me, just from talking with you, I get this energy from you, man, that you're ready, you're raring, you're ready to go at whoever the UFC puts in front of you next. Is there a particular? I think you called out he called out someone after his last fight.
Cody Garbrandt for sure.
Cody Garbrandt. So Danny, I know you want to ask him about that. You can.
Yeah, so I mean, just Cody, how do you see like that fight playing out? Because I mean, in the past he was elite. Right now, he's starting to kind of teeter down. How would you see that fight playing out?
Dude, he's fighting a dude who's 40 because they want him to win. You know what I mean? They want him to win a fight. Why not fight me? It's good. If you lose to me, you lose to somebody who's coming up. You know what I mean? No disrespect, but a 40 years old, you know what I mean? It's just, come on, man. Like, they just give it, you know what I mean? But I think he should fight me next, and then it'd be an easy fight. Why not fight me? You know what I mean? So that's why I called him out, because he's on the like 4 or 5. I mean, I feel like him fighting Yaya, they doing him a favor. Big follower,
Mhm.
fans. He's like a cool boy in the block, you know. So he's somebody so he can beat. I'm like, I mean, since Yaya is injured, come on, I'm ready to go. Why not fight me?
I know. I have another question for you. A name that I haven't heard you say, but he seems to be the darling of the UFC right now, Adrian Yanez in the bantamweight division. What do you think of Adrian Yanez, potential matchup in the future between? Because I'm looking at all these guys that are coming up in the bantamweight division, guys like yourself, and I'm telling you, they could put me in the room and make me a matchmaker. I'm thinking about these type of fights that would just be exciting, whether it's Randy Costa, even
Yeah.
though I know he's like very up and down and stuff like that. It's just exciting fights. But a guy like Adrian Yanez, does that intrigue you at all? Do you think that's a tough fight at all?
He hasn't been tested yet. You know, fighting guys. You know, he's really good. He has a. They say. I mean, okay. I wouldn't say. I mean, his stand up not bad. You know, what I mean, he hasn't been taken down yet. You know what I mean? He doesn't. We have him on the ground. You know, swim yet. You know, we just see him. You know, just beat up people. His game. You know what I mean? But I don't really say anything about Yanez because he's on a. You know what I mean? He's gonna have to fight somebody above him. You know what I mean? So me
Right.
want to fight him, it don't make sense. You gotta you gotta think it has to make sense. It doesn't make sense. Me fighting, you know what I mean? If I want to fight him, yeah. If I fight him, to me it makes sense. But that's why I don't really say anything about him because he's already up there. He has to come down to fight me. Cody makes sense. He's already down.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Jake Shore, he makes sense because he just lost. You know what I mean? And then you watch his fight, like maybe I feel like Jake Yanez might be next. You know, but yeah, that's why I.
So the next question I have for you, Saeed, before we start getting into some of these speed questions for some upcoming bouts, I want to get your opinion on for sure. Um, what is the biggest advice that you've learned throughout mixed martial arts, or biggest advice you can give someone who's just starting out in this game?
Change your lifestyle, man. No alcohol, no weed. Work hard. That's the guys. They win a fight and then they of a month partying, drinking. Man, every time you drink, that will push you back on your training. That's what Khabib was so successful because of lifestyle. It's all about lifestyle. It's all about lifestyle. That's the biggest advice. Clean up your life, television, work hard, man. That's what it is. You need to work hard and then wrestle. We can throw a punch. We can all throw a punch. You two can throw a punch at each other. You know what I mean? Knock out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Oh yeah,
can you
train me,
guys,
Saeed. Train me,
Yeah.
Saeed.
you know, how you gonna feel after you go into one scramble and get up? You know how tiring that is? What it is, man. It's all about lifestyle. Clean up your lifestyle. No smoking. You know what I mean? No drinking. That's my advice. I learned that from people like I'd say Khabib. Mayweather goes to parties. He buys the bottles, but he never drinks. He never
Right.
smokes. No, he still trains hard. It's all about lifestyle, man. You know what I mean? Lifestyle.
You
Cristiano
know,
Ronaldo, Floyd Mayweather, like Khabib, like you know, all these guys, they don't have a down up because of the lifestyle they live. You know, the food they eat. You know, what I mean, things they drink. So you gotta take care of yourself if you want to be great at this.
is about discipline. And, it's crazy. One of the quotes that I put on my board this morning, put a quote on my board every single morning, but this one just came to me. It says, "Doing anything at a high level requires total obsession."
Of course.
It, it,
So of course.
and the person who made that quote was actually Conor McGregor. And so I was kind of laughing because I'm like, man, this guy used to be so dedicated and so insane about his craft. But I forgot who said it a long time ago. It's easy to wake up and work hard when you don't got millions in the bank. It's a little bit difficult when you do, right? So this is
Yeah.
the point where you're a UFC fighter and a damn good one at that. So we want to get some of your opinions on some fights that are coming up. I really trust your analysis and your fight IQ. So I'm really curious to hear what you have to say about some of these fights coming up. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. We've got Curtis Blades taking on Tom Aspinall in the heavyweight division next week in the London card. I got to know, who are you going with? How do you think that fight plays out?
When it comes to heavyweights, man, it's just so tricky, man. I mean, Tom Aspinall has, right? It's not bad. Man, that's I Blades. I think he just has better approach. But as long as he doesn't get overwhelmed by the fans, if he stays true to Blades, might pull it off.
I can respect that. Let me go to the next one. Daniel took mine, the one that I wanted to ask you about. So, Daniel, you could. Okay, I'm going to ask him about this one. You guys about the next one. Juliana Pena taking on Amanda Nunes, the rematch.
Man, I stay away from girls, man. Girls always because girls are so tricky, dude. Like, I always think about me, I stay away from the girls.
I hear you on that one. How about Dillashaw taking on Sterling? Your own division, right? Aljamain Sterling. What do you make of Aljamain Sterling, too? I got to ask. What do you make of the Bantamweight champion, man? I'll tell you this, Saeed. Going into that last fight, I really believed in my heart Peter Yan was going to win that fight. I really believed Peter Yan was the better fighter out of the two. But I don't know what took place. I don't know if it was the coaches not being in his corner because of they weren't able to travel. I don't know what it was, but it just seemed like that wasn't the Peter Yan I was really expecting. Or maybe I'm not going to even disrespect Aljamain like that. Maybe it was Aljamain Sterling actually just evolving, getting a second opportunity to face Peter Yan and finding holes in his game. What did you make of that fight before you give us your prediction between Dillashaw and Sterling?
I mean, that fight. I mean, Aljamain won that fight clean. He just dude. Like I said earlier, his ground game is college wrestler, and he wrestled like good college. You know what I mean? And nice. And he's so lanky. He's a big boy, lanky. You know what I mean? It's when you fight short, when you come out to fight lanky guys, it's very awkward. You know what I mean? Like, you know what to do. I hate lanky guys myself. You know what I mean? So I mean, dude. I mean, Aljamain is a great fighter, man. As long as I feel missing his game, maybe just the way he approaches, throws punches. Maybe if he cleans up, I feel like he'd be even deadly. But even though the way he fights, he's very unpredictable. Comes from the bottom and top, like moves like you know what I mean? He shoots, kicks, punches. Like, he's like a funk master. Like, you know.
For sure, he lives up to his name. He definitely lives up to his name. So the last fight that I'm going to ask you about before Daniel asks you about, the one that I really wanted to ask you about, Aljamain Sterling taking on TJ Dillashaw. Who you got and why?
Okay, TJ. I mean, I feel like TJ is just as an athlete. I think TJ is just like, and then he's like that, one of those athletes like NBA athletes, like, you know what I mean? He has so many people around him, like, you know, they take care of him, like, you know, cheating and shit, because they know the game, they know how to get around. So I think I mean, TJ, I think, man, TJ will get it because he has a wrestling background, you know what I mean? And if age didn't catch up to him at this fight.
Absolutely, Daniel.
Oh yeah, so I'm glad I took yours, Malik. I really am. So Makhachev moving up, you know, to get his shot at the title against Vera. Who you got for that one?
We had to put you on the spot, brother. Yeah, it's tough. And Saeed, I hope you know I'm gonna text you too, bro. I'm gonna text you and be like, Saeed, bro, what are we going with? Who are we picking for this fight, man?
Let me tell you this: does Oliveira get to Dubai? If he gets there a month before. You know what I mean? Man, and he's just like I said, the lifestyle they live is different, man. You know what I mean? Party a little bit, like you know what I mean. And then we see him get tired in the past. It's like will make this fight so boring. Keep shooting, and then his ground game is not bad either. And I don't know, man. I gotta go with it.
Oh
Yeah.
So Daniel, we asked him all the questions. Who are you going with in this fight, man? Islam Makhachev. Just so you know, Said, Daniel is a huge Charles Oliveira fan. There's actually a debate going on in our company group chat that are like our MMA team, where we have a large contingency. A lot of people actually think Charles could beat Habib, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No. I think Habib would smash Charles, to be honest with you. And I think if we have any shot of seeing the Eagle come out of retirement, I don't think he would. But I think if there's any shot of him coming out of retirement, is if Charles was to beat Islam Makhachev in a dominant fashion, and if Charles was to get on that mic and call Habib out afterwards. That's the only way I could see Habib even considering a return to the lightweight division. But I think Habib is the type of guy. He's very classy. When he moves on, and he says, it's Charles's time to be dominant. But Daniel, who do you got in this fight?
So I mean, also we should preface this by saying, Saeed, like we saw your Twitter. You are huge into betting. We bet a lot too. So we're always constantly betting on these UFC fights too. I don't know if I'd bet on this one, but honestly, the way I look at it, he's faced three strikers. Oliveira's faced three strikers in the past, and when he faced Chandler, he had Chandler's back, and it still didn't work out well. He caught him on the feet. So I think if Islam can take him to the ground, this is a different fight for him in the past. We've seen him get caught in all three of his fights. I just think I have to go with Islam. He's the new blood, and it's a different fight for Oliveira. He's going to face something he hasn't fought in the past three fights. So I think I have to go with Islam. Even though Oliveira's my boy, Malik, you've also convinced me, how Oliveira,
I do have one more thing for Saeed before we let you go, Saeed. I do. And here's what it is, brother. I've never asked anybody this outside of you, Daniel, really. Khamzat Chimaev, right, taking on Kamaru Usman. Who would you take in that fight?
Yeah, man. He's not ready.
Usman?
Yeah, he needs.
No, come on, Saeed. Usman?
Come on, man. Usman demolished all these guys he beat. I mean, he almost. I like Chimaev, man. He's still young. He needs to take his time. But he's not ready for Usman. Yeah, Usman, he lapped everybody. So he already knows how to win the game. Yes, Michael Jordan in his division, so you know what I mean. He knows how to win. So he's it's just Chimaev. You said Chimaev in 3 rounds, man. He got tired like a dog after the second.
He did. It was weird. It was. But I also think it was a lot of him trying to play to the crowd. Trying to be exciting, trying to be engaging and stuff like that. But no, I agree with you. I personally think that. I'm very curious to see how Khamzat Chimaev will look in his next fight. If he shows growth from the Gilbert Burns fight, because I think he could have made that Gilbert Burns fight a lot easier than he did make it personally. But he didn't play to he didn't really play to the game plan that his coach laid out. But Daniel,
yeah. So Asai, I hate to keep you. I got one more for you. Israel Adesanya, Alex Pereira. This is one everybody's talking about, and like we've got an opinion. I just want to hear from you. Who wins in that fight?
Get it. You know how he's gonna get it? He's gonna get it by point because he knows the movements. If you look, Alex, if they're standing in front of him, you know what I mean. If they're moving around, kicking him, messing around with him, boring fight ever, but I think Izzy's gonna get this one done.
I actually agree with him, Daniel. I might want a different outcome, but I think Israel Adesanya is going to fight very strategic and very smart, and sort of get that monkey off of his back and finally beat Alex Pereira. I don't think it's going to be Alex Pereira 3-0 versus Izzy. I really don't. But Saeed, my man, I want to thank you so much for joining us, man. I don't think this will be the last time that we have you on the show either, man. This was too much fun, man. We're all big fans of you here. Me and you, we now I follow you on Twitter. And you know, the whole entire TWSN team, my company, will be supporting you, man, and supporting your career, and you know, just always rooting for you. So if you know, I might reach out to you again to have you on, you know, sooner, whether it will be when your next fight is announced or whenever the case may be. But man, I want to just thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us, man. Now go back to sleep, man. Go back to sleep.
Appreciate it, man.
I got a day. I'm good, man.
I hear you.
It was cool,
I hear you.
man. Thank you.
Absolutely, Sai. You take care, brother.
Take care, man.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you guys again for joining us for this special, you know, pretty much conversation with Saidyokub Kakhramonov. And it was really exciting to just talk with him, pick his brain as a fighter, and really just see where he sees himself fitting into the division moving forward. So again, want to just thank you guys. Make sure you guys follow him on Twitter too. He's a great following entertainer, and he also engages a lot with his followers too, man. He's next up in the bantamweight division. I truly believe that he's a guy that you guys need to watch him. Saeed is a problem. Saeed is a problem. So we want to thank you so much, Saeed, for joining us on the show, my man. It was nothing but love, brother. But again, you guys can catch us on the Game Changers every single Monday night, same time, same crew, just a little bit more of us. If you guys liked yesterday's show, you'll like the show that we have for this upcoming Monday. But again, follow Saeed on Twitter. His links will all be in the description below, and make sure you interact with that guy, man. He's just absolutely awesome and is a total pro. And also follow Terrence McKinney. He's one of his Saeed's training partners and good friend. So again, thank you guys for following us along. Subscribe, like this video, and we will see you next time on the TWSN YouTube channel.
Yes.
Welcome everyone to the TWSN Betting Patreon. If you like making a little money and want an entire team do the research for you daily, come join us here. We have 5 different packages: Rookie, Starter, Veteran, Hall of Fame, and GOAT, with each one increasing in different types of betting analysis for you. Just know if you subscribe to any one of these tiers on the TWSN Betting Patreon, you're getting a team that is putting hours and hours daily into the best bets, into the futures bets, into any question that you have. So there's only one thing left to do. Join the TWSN Betting Patreon, as there's only one way to bet the right way.